So, what the fuck is the Vodarac? You see, in Eureka 7, the universe has a lot of interesting lore to it. And one of the interesting things about it is the Vodarac. Because, on one hand, it's a religion. It is their belief, their very doctrines. But the Vodarac, the word itself, means several things to people of that religion, of that doctrine. So let's get into it. What is exactly the Vodarac? Now, the people who follow the Vodarac are nothing really special. They are from multiple ethnicities, multiple backgrounds, from pretty much all over the planet. As far as the religion goes, they do seem to be worldwide, but they are openly oppressed as they are viewed with a lot of superstition, which is kind of ironic, considering that majority of the population in Eureka 7 seem to be atheist. So it's more of a atheism versus theism kind of situation going on here. And because the people do not understand what the Vodarac stand for, they usually openly regard them with hostilities. There is also another sector of the Vodarac who actually are militant. They draw a lot of inspiration there from mostly Middle Eastern terrorist organizations. So it's understandable why people have this fear of the Vodarac. And this is why it's not openly considered a good idea to announce to the world that you are a Vodarac. But you may be thinking, Freezer 700, well, what's their beliefs then? If they're militant and it looks a lot kind of like terrorist organizations over the Middle East when they attack cities and shit, what exactly do they believe in? Are they like from warlords and shit? No. It's actually kind of interesting is that they're very peaceful religion when you look at it. When you look at their teachings and their doctrines, it's very, very, very peaceful. They believe that the planet is one of many planes of existence. Each plane of existence ties together and deals with the layers of humanity. Like, for example, one plane of existence is your dreams, and that plane affects another plane, which is your perceptions of reality. They also have this main belief, this main idea in their religion that in order for humanity to prosper on this planet that they have colonized, they must bind with the alien planet. They must infuse their mind with the scub coral, which is the surface of the planet, which is a sentient, coral-like species, which, of course, in their belief is sleeping, which is actually scientifically correct. The scub coral are, in fact, sleeping. So there is some reality based on their beliefs. They're not just total superstitious nonsense. Now, this does cause a bit of an issue when they say, oh, it's as the Vodarac wills it, because that can mean a lot of things. That can mean the people, it's as the people wills it. It could mean the planet wills it. But the Vodarac belief also includes themselves, so it could be just their mind wills it. It's a very interesting subject because this one word has several meanings behind it. Now, usually with Vodarac believers, they carry with them compact drives at all times. And this is mostly to pray. They don't use it for their machines, they use it for prayer. Now, the reason behind this is that the compact drive is not just a tool to communicate man to machine, so that way the machine can operate better despite the limited usage of controls. No. The compact drive also amplifies a human's will and intent and their mind around their surroundings. This has very obvious scientific fact behind it, that the scub corals can manifest things into reality because they're almost magical in nature. Reality is that they're just so technologically advanced that they're able to do this. So, when it comes to things like trapper waves and skyfish, the nearness of a compact drive can amplify and manifest these creations. They can cause things to rise and fall. If someone is in a very great, happy mood, skyfish will arrive. If they're in a great mood, an excitable mood, and they're near their compact drive, trapper waves may skyrocket. This is, again, why it is they carry the compact drives with them at all times, as they believe, again, with their religion, that their mind affects reality. And they do have some legit backing with this compact drive. Their belief also includes a lot of charity and understanding of others. Usually their leaders, their saints, need to be the epitome of empathy, able to understand all people's motives and where they're coming from. It's actually really interesting is that despite there being some militant members of the Vodarac who are deemed as evil by other Vodarac believers, the saint, Master Norb, he doesn't ridicule these people. He just goes, they're taking up arms for a cause that they righteously believe is true in their hearts, in their mind, in their Vodarac. So, there's nothing wrong with that. And this, of course, upsets some of his followers who are like, what are you talking about? They're so evil. They're killing people. They're sending bombs in people's cities. It's like, but they're fighting for what they believe is true. Aren't we doing the same? Aren't we doing the exact same fucking thing? This is why the Vodarac is a very interesting religion to analyze. Now, when it comes to the existence of planes and the god they believe in, aka the Vodarac, they believe a weird mixture, as I've said before, of solipsism and dualism. You see, with solipsism, the idea is that your mind is pretty much all that exists. And with the Vodarac, that does seem to be the case. They do seem to believe that their mind is what changes the environment. Their mind is what matters the most. But they also seem to believe in this dualistic belief that the planet itself is their god, that the planet itself has its own plans, it has its own influences, and what the planet wants will affect you. So it's kind of like this weird solipsism, dualism mixture religion, where on one hand, your beliefs and your dreams and your body can influence the world around you, but the planet's will influence you as well. After all, there will be times where the planet will put things into motion to guide you on your way. This is, again, when they say, oh, it's as the Vodarac wills it, they could be talking about the planet. The planet, the scub coral that is, do have their own plans, their own emotions, their own minds. This is what they're talking about. But on one hand, it is kind of like solipsism, where it's just your mind, your perceptions of reality is really what's more important than other people's minds. So it's kind of a weird mixture. It's really fascinating. I find that so intriguing and so just weird. It's just fascinating. Now, there is a bit of a conflict, of course, with these concepts in the Vodarac faith, as some saints will be more on one side of the dualist perspective that they should adhere to the planet's will more than their own will. And you got some like Master Norb, who's more of just everyone has their free will to do whatever they want. Fate doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the planet sets in motion. It's ultimately you who matters. And that's just very intriguing. There's also a lot of symbolism in this belief, in the religion, and most of their symbolism is usually of something of the earth, which would be like animals, grass, flowers. These are usually the icons that they use all the time, whether it's paintings on their face or giant mascots for their parades and festivals. Now, they do have some biblical type beliefs in there, like they believe that humanity has wronged the planet, has wronged the Vodarac, and also themselves. And so to fight this, they strive to conjoin with the planet, in that joining all the planes of existence together into one, this would uplift humanity of its evil deeds, of its chains of wrongdoing. After all, it's a weird mixture of religion where they kind of believe that the planet and your mind are entwined, and that your body and your mind and the planet are all separate planes of existence, but yet they all come together. In the novel, they talk about how there's 7 planes of existence. They also say it in the anime, there's 7 planes. And in Japan, Eureka 7 is not known as Eureka 7. It's known as Eureka 7, the 7 palms of the universe. This is, again, what it's all about, is these 7 things. But they never say what the first one is, what the second one is, what the fourth one is, what the fifth one is. It's really interesting because I would love to know more, right? I would love to know what each individual plane of existence is and what governs that, because that would be an awesome thing to cover. Now, before we end it here, the Vodarac does have a separate section of their beliefs, as I stated before. So if you have the regular Vodarac, or at least that's what they call themselves, is just the Vodarac. Really, they believe under Master Norb's ideals mostly, in that they're very peaceful, they strive to focus on themselves, and, of course, strive for harmony with the planet. But there is the Myoto sect, and the Myoto is a branch of Vodarac that are very militarized and practice what other Vodarac consider evil teachings. Instead of seeking harmony, they seek to retaliate, to attack and oppress those that are not them. Because after all, the military and other people are attacking them just because they're strange. Their ways of beliefs are weird. So because they don't understand them, they attack the Vodarac. Well, of course, if you attack me and I have no one else to turn to, I'm probably going to attack you back. And that's pretty much what this Myoto sect is. It's just a bunch of victims who came together and said, fuck that, we're not going to be oppressed any longer. We're going to be the oppressors. Their beliefs are actually a little different. So it's really interesting when you see the difference between the Myoto and the regular Vodarac believers. I do find it very interesting. The Myoto sect adhere to more older traditions, and a vast majority of Vodarac believers are actually of the Myoto sect. They openly oppress and kill the other Vodaracs because they don't adhere to their strictures. They believe them as naive idiots who believe in Master Norb's beliefs, which again, that doesn't work for them. They don't believe in seeking harmony. They instead seek to bind with the planet, yes, but they seek to bind with the planet to lead them to salvation, to be free of the planet's wrongdoings and stuff like that. A very different take on it. They also believe in saints being born from their own leaders, dubbing them as like holy saints that will lead their religion onwards to salvation by binding with the planet. But in order to bind with the planet, they just sit in front of a compact drive and just keep begging for Sakuya. Sakuya is Master Norb's lover. They keep begging Sakuya to open up and to let them in and to open her heart up, because Sakuya is a child of the planet. She actually came from the planet. So she's a holy symbol to them. And the fact that she's just a giant flower now is more beliefs into their religion about all their iconography, their symbolism of flowers and such like that. So they always pray for her, Sakuya, to open up her heart to them and bind them to the planet like he did to Master Norb. Because when she binded Master Norb with the compact drive in his chest, he's able to do some really crazy shit that actually does put more merit into the Vodarac faith. You see, when a compact drive is embedded into your chest, and now your will is directly tied to it, Master Norb's able to do some crazy shit. He's able to put his hand down on the ground and summon a massive wall just out of nowhere, just sprout from the ground. He's able to just level cities by doing this. But he doesn't, because he believes in his harmony and that being with the planet should be more of a hormonal thing, not being used for military goals or for evil reasons. So, of course, many of the Vodarac, even the Myoto sect, do look up to this, and they do beg Sakuya to open up and give them the same blessing. But they don't understand is that Sakuya is defending the Vodara Shrine, which is the capital of the Vodarac. By defending it, she's had this massive miasma of a cloud that blocks everything. And if she opens up, that cloud disappears and now the place is no longer protected. And mind you, this place has like a whole city around it, just plain Vodarac believers. Despite this, though, they sit there and they pray and they beg Sakuya to open up. And in the past 40 years, none of them have succeeded. So down this hallway, you'll just see mummified remains of saints in front of compact drives. Forever there, forever on display, begging Sakuya to open. Meanwhile, though, what the Myoto sect openly does is they usually bomb churches, they bomb schools. I mean, not churches, they don't really have churches in Eureka 7. But they bomb markets, bomb schools, bomb hospitals, and they bomb so many people that the military has to re-escalate its military affairs in attacking them, and it has actually reduced many Vodarac cities to nothing but ruins. This is, of course, just a consequence of when you fight fire with fire. Besides that, this has been Freezer 700. I am out. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have learned now when you watch Eureka 7 or when you read it or when you do whatever, that now you understand what the Vodarac is. It's a very fascinating religion that mixes a bit of psychology with a bit of weird merit from the world that they live in. It's combining ideas of psychology with ideas of philosophy, but also ideas of reality. Because again, in the anime, their reality is very different from our reality. They have to deal with flying machines and shit like that. We don't. So their religion's very grounded in these realistic beliefs. It's very fascinating. Besides that, I'm out. See you guys next time.